Welcome into another episode of Locked On Phillies. The Phils dominate again against the Rockies. They are first in the NL East, first in the National League. They're red hot. And this level of domination, we'll talk about how impressive it is on today's episode.
You are Locked On Phillies, your daily Philadelphia Phillies podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, this is Locked On Phillies. I'm your host, Connor Thomas. Thank you so much for joining us today. We come to you as part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. You may know me from some of my other work in the sports talk space. I've been on air over at 97.5 The Fanatic, doing sports talk radio for over 5 years now. Been a credentialed Philadelphia Phillies media member for 4 seasons, and this is now my 4th year as the host of Locked On Phillies. Please make sure you're rating and reviewing if you're checking us out in podcast form. We're available wherever you get your podcasts. Very easy to find. You can also subscribe to us on the YouTube. Check out the YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. It's free. It's easy. It gets you notifications when new episodes are posted. All that stuff really helps us out here on Locked On Phillies. It also helps you find us easier. So appreciate everyone who's done that and is going to do that from this episode. Speaking of this episode, it's brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. The Phillies, they dominate the Rockies again. I mean, light work. This is go to bed early type of territory for the Philadelphia Phillies against the Colorado Rockies. I mean, the dominance in this series is flat out unbelievable. What the Phillies have been doing. We're going to talk about it. We will also give some love to Jesus Luzardo in our next segment because he deserves his own standalone spot. 10 strikeouts last night was awesome again. It wasn't the easiest performance for him because he had to kind of battle a little bit, but the line once again looks stellar. He's unbelievable, and he's a huge part of this rotation, and that is a major offseason pickup for the Philadelphia Phillies. And then we'll take a look at Phil's Rockies game 3, which, I mean, whatever. Phils are dominating this team. I guess any given day, right? But we'll get to that. Let's talk about last night, or let's talk about the series so far, really, because the Phillies won 7-4 last night, and they absolutely turned it on again. 17 hits. The first time since 2007. Which I was in 7th grade. I was not even in high school yet. I was not even in the final year of middle school yet. In 2007, when the Phillies were playing, was the last time they had back-to-back 17-hit performances. That's incredible. That's really impressive by the Philadelphia Phillies offense. I don't care that it's Colorado Rockies. To be able to go out there and do that is still feather in your cap. And that's 34 hits in 18 innings worth of work against the Colorado Rockies. If that's not dominant, I don't know what is. They scored 9 2 nights ago. They scored 7 tonight. So 16 runs on 34 hits through 2 games of the series. This is what you call domination, and everybody's getting in on it. Bryce's stat was 3 for 6. Yeah, when you have 17 hits, you bat around a bunch. Turner 2 for 5. Harper 3 for 5. Schwarber 1 for 4. Oh, yeah. By the way, Kyle Schwarber, homer number 301. He's a tank. Pay that man, please, for the love of God. He's getting more expensive by the day. Castellanos, 1 for 4. Runs scored. Max Kepler, 2 for 4. JT Realmuto was the only guy in the lineup without a hit. He was 0 for 5. The only guys that weren't multi-hit guys last night were Schwarber, Castellanos, and Realmuto because Alec Boehm had 2 hits in the 8-hole and Marsh had 3 hits in the 9-hole. Marsh also went 2 for 3. Being inserted in the 7th inning of game 1. This is what would happen. Have you ever had one of your buddies? It's I could get some outs at the major league level. Yeah, I know. I'm that guy sometimes too. Now, I did pitch a little bit back in my day, but I am very washed now. And my point is, this is what it looks like, would look like if one of your buddies was I'm going to go out there and I'm going to throw. It would look this bad. That's how bad the Colorado Rockies have been. And I mean, I guess they created some offense. They scored 4 runs, but most of those came late against Max Lazar. Colorado scored 2 in the 9th, 1 in the 7th, so they got off the bullpen. This game was not as close as a 7-4 score indicated. The Rockies had no chance. The Phillies put up 3 in the first, and it was over from Jump Street, right? So what do you look at now? Well, Here's the mentality you need, because I know what some people are saying out there. Connor, it's just the Rockies. How do you get excited over this? They're a AA team. They're a AAA team. They stink, whatever you want to call it. They should win these games. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, I get it. You can only play who's in front of you on the schedule. So for the next 2 games, the next 2 days, the Phillies are going to continue to play the Rockies. And as much as you're like, don't get excited when they win, you're going to get excited in a bad way if they lose. So pardon me for enjoying my team's success. Thank you. On top of that, the Rockies, they're not a good team, but they have won 8 times this year. Now, I want to take a look at this and see who are the hapless teams that have lost to the Colorado Rockies. The Diamondbacks gave up 14 runs to this team, lost 14-12 in the series before this series. The Rangers swept them. The Padres swept them. The Tigers swept them. The Giants dropped the game to them. That Giants team's not terrible. So they've beaten the Giants. They've beaten the Diamondbacks. They've beaten the Braves. Have they beaten the Royals? They have not beaten the Royals. They beat the Nationals. Good for them. The Rockies, they did not beat the Dodgers. No, that's the thing. They have beaten some teams. They beat the Brewers, who the Phillies are going to play in a little bit. They beat the Athletics, who the Phillies play next, out in Sacramento, I guess is where the Athletics are playing. My point is this. The Rockies beat some teams. They have. And they're not this they can never, ever, ever win a baseball game. They're not good at all. But in these moments, you need to enjoy it. Just think about it this way, right? Because baseball, everyone likens it to running a marathon. Well, if you're running a marathon and you're going uphill, right? There's an uphill slope where you're running. Makes it harder to run. You get tired faster. In that length of a race, it probably sucks to be running uphill. And then you hit a downhill stretch. So much easier. Gravity's carrying you. You can throttle back a little bit on the speed that you're running at. And it just takes you downhill. Do you know what no marathon runner ever does? I can't wait for the next uphill part. No, you want it easy. You want it to be simple. You revel in those moments where it's easier than when you have to run uphill. Right now, the Philadelphia Phillies are on a downslope of their schedule. The Rockies is basically like gravity pulling you along in a marathon, right? They're easy to beat. But you don't complain about it when it's happening. You enjoy these moments. There will be plenty to complain about. When the Phillies have rough games the rest of the way, and there will be rough games at points, there will be plenty of time for us to complain about those. So I never understood the people who complain about, you're getting excited over just beating the Rockies. I'm not saying the Phillies have won the World Series because they've taken the first 2 games of a series with the Colorado Rockies. No, but what I am saying is, there are going to be plenty of times this year where we have legitimate reasons to be mad at the Philadelphia Phillies. Don't seek out angry, all right? Be happy. I think that was some revised version of don't worry, be happy. But you get what I'm saying, all right? Just take the schedule as it comes. And when you play the Athletics coming up, it's going to be a little bit tougher. And then when you go and you play the Brewers, it's going to be tougher. And you're going to have these tough stretches in Atlanta. It's going to be tougher. So there will be games where you could take more out of it. But in these moments where you play these very, very beatable opponents like the Colorado Rockies, like the Pittsburgh Pirates, don't just brush that off as nothing, right? Other teams out in baseball, everybody plays everybody now. So other teams out in baseball are also playing the Rockies and also playing the Pirates. So the Phillies need to take full advantage of this. And anyone who looks at that and says, that's not that important, you're crazy. Now, it's not going to be the most entertaining baseball. There were points in the early innings last night where I was like, do I just record my post-game video now because I know what's going to happen and go to bed? I don't need to watch this team just dominate the Colorado Rockies. It's not that exciting baseball. Sure, but wins are wins, right? Whether it's a close win and one that makes you stay up all night because the adrenaline's still pumping, or whether it's one like last night where you're sitting on the couch, you're half asleep, and you're just this game's been over for the past 2 hours. And it's only been going on for 2.5. Like, whatever the case may be, it's actually great that it's the West Coast trip that has a team like this on it, because maybe if you're an early riser, you can go ahead and get some early sleep knowing that this game is over. But the Phillies have dominated the Colorado Rockies. I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. Tonight's game is a little bit tricky, and I will tell you why in our final segment as we get into a preview of Game 3 and see if the Phillies can lock up a series victory. It will be their 7th in their last 8 series if they're able to win tonight. So, hey, Phillies 34 hits in 18 innings. They haven't even won the series yet, so still work to be done. So don't put the cart before the horse. But if they're able to do that, that'll be very impressive, and we will be very excited about that. But before we get into looking into Game 3, Phillies-Rockies, we need to take a second. And I intentionally, in that first segment, did not really talk too much about Jesus Luzardo. We got to give this guy his flowers, because he has been absolutely unbelievable for the Philadelphia Phillies, and we do not talk about him enough. And we will talk about him enough in this next segment, but after another dominating performance by him on the mound out in Colorado. We'll do that coming back as we continue today's episode of Locked On Phillies. But let's talk about Monarch Money first, because have you ever checked your bank account and wondered where did all your money go? Well, between dining out and online shopping and entertainment, it's super easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money, they're not just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. It does so much more than just budgeting. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. That's what you're supposed to do, right? Not just keep the money you have, make your money work for you. Monarch Money can help with that. When I started using Monarch, I was surprised, well, kind of surprised, how much money I spent on going out to eat or going to the bar. But when you actually see those numbers right in front of you, it's like, okay, I got to fix this. And they help you become smarter and save more. And instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. And it's great to collaborate with partners as well, managing money with your partner smoother than ever, because you can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without any of the stress. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com, and you'll get 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. Go ahead and check out our friends over at Monarch Money. Let's talk about Jesus. What would Jesus do? He's been so darn good for the Philadelphia Phillies. Like, unbelievably so. And it's great to see, because I was very excited about the Phillies acquiring Jesus Luzardo. Now, it was a little bit different than, I don't know, I'm trying to think of previous excitements, like the signing of Trey Turner, because obviously Trey Turner, a bigger name in the sport, and he was at a position of need because you needed another middle infielder. You needed to shore that up, right? So Luzardo wasn't added at a position of need. If Jesus Luzardo wasn't here, your rotation would have been Wheeler, Nola, Suarez, Sanchez, Walker for the time being, but then Painter would have come up. And you would have been like, okay, well, we can make that work. And you see Aaron Nola struggling now, and that's a problem. And you've seen some rough stretches from some of the guys in the rotation at points, like not anything crazy, but if you were to take Jesus Luzardo out of it, who has been the Phillies' most consistent starting pitcher, I believe, him and Zach Wheeler, take your pick, it would look very different. But you weren't at a point where it's like, we need another starter. So when the news came down, they were trading Starlin Caba to the Miami Marlins for Jesus Luzardo. It was like, why are they going to get another pitcher? And then you thought was, oh, well, I guess it's a preemptive Ranger Suarez safety net if Ranger walks in free agency after this season. So it was just kind of like a nice move, division rival. He's had some injury issues. I remember him being kind of good. Is he good? Yeah, he's pretty good, right? And then he goes out there and he starts the season and just looks dominant, striking out people left and right. Multiple double-digit strikeout games this year. The Phillies, the only team with 2 guys in their rotation that have multiple double-digit strikeout games. That's pretty darn impressive. Of course, it's Wheeler. Of course, it's Luzardo. It's those 2 guys. And Jesus Luzardo has been every bit as good as Zach Wheeler this year. He may have even been better than Zach Wheeler so far this season. And this is a guy that Miami let go. And they were just like, hey, injury issues, don't know what the future is here. You can have him. We'll trade him in division. All right, buddy. You saw that one with JT Realmuto? Get ready to be watching Jesus Luzardo for the next couple of years. Now, speaking of the next couple of years, what is his contract situation? Because I'm sure everybody in Philadelphia sees this guy throw the poise, the command, the velo, the out pitch. He's got it all from the left side. Like, he has got everything that you want from a left-handed starting pitcher. And how do you get him to stay here long term? Well, current contract situation. He is under team control this year. They avoided arbitration with him. Next year, he is arbitration eligible again. So in 2026, they can either go to arbitration or they can avoid arbitration by settling on a number outside of arbitration court, basically. And then in 2027, he's an unrestricted free agent. So you want to lock him down long term, right? That's the idea. Now, it's not time to do that yet. He's only made, 10 starts for the Philadelphia Phillies so far. Now, those 10 starts are rivaling guys like Roy Halladay and Roy Oswalt and all of these record holders for best starts since being acquired by the Philadelphia Phillies. Like, he has had one of the great starts to a Phillies career in history of the franchise. Jesus Luzardo has been that good. We're not recognizing this enough. He is unbelievable. He's one of the biggest acquisitions of the offseason in baseball this year. He is paying dividends like crazy. He will be a huge part of where this team goes and if they reach their ceiling. It's not crazy to say right now. Listen to how I say this. Jesus Luzardo could have been the missing piece. We don't know. Could have been. And starting pitching has been strong for the Phillies. But maybe we look back and say, wow, he was the one who got them over the hump. I don't know yet, but that's not far-fetched at this point. And that's crazy that it's not crazy because nobody really looked at this as this major acquisition. It was just like this kind of nice, sneaky trade that ended up now looking like this blockbuster move. But when you look at how the future of Jesus Luzardo is going to be decided, there are a couple of things that need to be taken care of first. You're not going to give him an extension now. And why you're not going to give him an extension now is because you have not seen him throw enough and injury issues are still a concern. But also, you have this guy. I believe he DHs. This big lefty dude, Kyle something, that hits a home run basically every other at bat that's going to need to get paid. You got to pay Kyle Schwarber. And you can't pay Luzardo before you pay Schwarber because you want every asset available to be put towards Kyle Schwarber, right? You want to be able to just empty the tank on Kyle Schwarber. And if you do get him, okay, then you could start talking to Luzardo. And if you don't get him, well, then you got to sign his replacement. But because Luzardo is not up for a contract at the end of this year, you're not going to see anything done with his contract anytime soon. That's the right way to do it. And even if he was, it'd probably be early, considering he's only made 2 hands worth of starts in a Philadelphia Phillies uniform. So we still got to figure out, hey, how sustainable is this? How healthy is he going to be over the course of 162 games or however many starts he does make? How consistent is he going to be? Looks like all those answers are pretty darn good right now, but you're in no rush because, again, next year you can just keep him on arbitration and come to an agreed amount, and you got him locked down. You don't have to pay him big bucks yet. But once you get all your other ducks in a row, like Ranger Suarez is another guy after this year is going to have to be paid by somebody, whether that's the Phillies or otherwise. Phillies are going to be somewhat interested, I'd imagine, but we'll see how aggressive they are to go after Ranger Suarez. You'll have to see what happens with Andrew Painter and what he looks like when he comes up. Maybe that changes the dynamic. So you're in no rush right now with Luzardo, but when the time comes, I would like to see this guy here long term. Like I absolutely would. He started the season 5-0. He's 27 years old, so he's got years left. He's 5 years younger than where Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola are currently at right now. So you could take a 4 or 5 year contract for Jesus Luzardo right now and feel pretty darn good about it. But we're not there yet, but we do need to start acknowledging him more. I think the fan base will. I think he's a liked guy by the fan base. I don't see anyone out there saying, wow, Luzardo's actually not that good. That's not what I'm saying, but He has been Zach Wheeler. And I remember the start of Zach Wheeler's career here in Philadelphia. Now, people did not realize until a year or two in just how dominant he's been. Like, oh, wait, no, this guy is not just like cool because we got him from the Mets. This guy is cool because he's arguably the best pitcher in baseball. Excuse me. Arguably the best pitcher in baseball and has been for a while. Like, when do we start to look at Luzardo in that way? Still got a while to go. But you smelling that? Because I'm starting to smell a little bit of Zach Wheeler. And that's what Jesus Luzardo is putting out there right now on the mound. He's been unbelievable. He deserved his own segment after another strong start last night. I do not give a damn that it was the Colorado Rockies. I don't care one bit. They're a major league team, whether you believe they are or not. Luzardo went out there and shoved. That's not easy to do. He's been great all year. He's 5-0. His ERA is awesome. His strikeout numbers are awesome. Everything about him is awesome. I hope he keeps doing it because he's going to be a huge, huge part of this team going forward this year. Speaking of going forward, well, it's time to turn the page on Game 2 and take a peek ahead to Phillies, Rockies, Game 3. How did the Phillies find their way to their 6th straight victory? Yes, they've won 5 straight. How do they find their way to winning their 7th of 8 straight series? Well, it should be pretty simple, no? The Rockies think. Well, tonight, a little bit different, okay? And we'll talk about that coming up as we wrap up today's episode of Locked On Phillies. It's a bit of a different situation on the mound tonight for the Philadelphia Phillies. So this would have been Aaron Nola's spot in the rotation. Of course, we know Aaron Nola's on the injured list with a right ankle sprain. So Nick Abel came up Sunday to get the rotation back in line. He was sent back down, I should say. That wasn't English that I used before. So Taijuan Walker will now be tonight in Aaron Nola's spot in the rotation. He's been good this year. His win-loss record is not good, 1-3, but he has a 2.62 ERA, a 1.25 WHIP, and 34 1/3 innings pitched. He struck out 31. He's only given up 2 bombs. He's walked 14, so the walks have been more an issue than the hits really have been. He has given up 29 hits in 34 1/3 innings pitched, but he just needs to have that command, and hopefully he will be okay. But you don't have Luzardo. You don't have Sanchez, who threw the first 2 games. Taijuan Walker's a little more volatile. And if you learn anything from this series about the Colorado Rockies, about how they could beat you, they can swing it a little bit. They don't consistently enough, and they don't create enough opportunities throughout the course of a game. But they put a ball in a gap, they're going to take an extra bag on you. They hustle. They're going to put bat on ball most of the time, unless Luzardo's on the mound. Like, I'm not trying to say, oh, this team's tougher than they look, because they are exactly what they look like. They look like an 8-win baseball team in late May. That's not good. But you do start to get behind the 8 ball and you give up a bomb or 2 here and allow that momentum, allow them to hang around. I don't know. This team can swing it a little bit. That is not their weakest point. Their weakest point is probably their pitching, and their second weakest point is probably their defense. And then it's probably their offense. Their offense may be the strength of this Colorado Rockies team, which not hard to do. But Taijuan Walker's got his work cut out for him. He hasn't started in a little bit, so he could be a little rusty. I'm not sure how far they'll want him to go. I think if they can get him through 5, hell yeah, Ty. Great stuff. Have a seat right next to me. No reason for you to go back out there for the 6th inning. That's my guess. If 5 innings, 2 earned, would be totally fine. 5 innings, 3 earned would be a little bit sketchy. But when you see who the Philadelphia Phillies are facing on the mound, you should be okay. So they're going to be facing Carson Palmquist. And Carson Palmquist, if you're not familiar with him, in his career has started exactly 1 game. He threw 4 innings. He allowed 5 earned runs. He gave up 6 hits, no home runs, walked 1, struck out 0 in those 4 innings worth of work. He has an 11.25 ERA. That was against the Diamondbacks in an 8-0 loss to them out in Arizona. So he's making his 2nd career Major League appearance. He's 24. He was born in the year 2000, if you want to feel old. It's crazy. But he's going to be on the mound. Lefty, 6'3", 185. Couldn't tell you anything else besides his bio. He does not even have a picture up on the ESPN app. He is that young. Lefty that's got an 11.25 ERA. Like, you should cook this dude. If he makes it through 4 innings again, that'd be a miracle. Now, the Diamondbacks, who we faced last time, solid offensive team. They've got 2 of like the top 5 home run hitters in baseball on their team, and Eugenio Suarez and Corbin Carroll, both tearing the cover off the ball in the power numbers. Surprising for a guy like Corbin Carroll, but this isn't locked on Diamondbacks. Bottom line is this: the first team he faced could swing it, so he may not be like a complete pushover, but he doesn't look good. The numbers don't look good. You wonder, is this like that sneaky game where you don't really know the guy, so you get in a situation where, okay, we don't have a scouting report, we're pressing, we're getting kind of behind in the count because we're trying to be a little bit either more aggressive to get fastballs or more conservative to see what the guy's throwing. I don't know. I don't see that from the Phillies with the way that they're going. I think they're going to win their 6th straight baseball game tonight. I think they're going to dominate. This game's going to go one of 2 ways. Either they're going to get like 6-inning 1 hit by this guy, Palmquist. I still have to even look back at my notes because I don't know who the heck the guy is. Or they're going to hang like 8 on him in the first 3 innings, and he's going to get tossed, and then the bullpen is going to come in, and the Phillies are going to throw the backups in, and it'll be another game as scheduled. So anyone who's sitting there worried, oh, well, when the Phillies match up with these guys that they don't really know, they don't seem to have success in the past. I mean, they do more than you think. It just sticks out more to you when you have a no-name guy that shoves against the Philadelphia Phillies. But I don't think that's going to happen tonight. I hope it's not going to happen tonight. With the lefty on the mound, you're going to look at some of the righties get going. I guess Kyle Schwarber still is considered a threat against lefties, considering he crushes lefty pitching this year. He's unbelievable. Him hitting another home run last night, I mean, just stop it. I believe it was off a lefty as well. Like, you can't be this good. When does he start to get MVP chants? And they're chanting Schwarber or Schwarbomb to him out there in Colorado, on the road, across the country. Yeah, Phillies fans, you travel. Great job. Appreciate that very much. I'm sure the players do as well. But Schwarber's that good that he's getting these chants on the – now, they weren't MVP chants, and I don't think he has a chance to win MVP. But he's been red hot, lefties or righties. So lefty on the mound, still expect him to look good. Trey Turner will probably be in the leadoff spot. You'll probably see Rojas in center. You'll probably see Weston Wilson out in left again. You'll probably see Edmundo Sosa in the lineup somewhere. Maybe it's for Bryson Stott, maybe not. But I don't know. The Phillies are going to produce runs. Like the guys that I look at, I would look at Castellanos to get things going. He's been hitting, right? But he hasn't really been showing off the pop all that much. It's been more like these looping singles or gap-to-gap power. I think he's going to run into one tonight. So I would look at Nick Castellanos as a potential home run guy. Maybe JT Realmuto as well. JT really loves hitting against the Rockies. He does. He has great numbers in that ballpark. He has great numbers against that team. He hasn't really showed that off yet this year. He was 0 for yesterday in a game where they had 17 hits, so maybe he's a little bit ticked off. Or maybe you'll see Rafael Marchand out there tonight at the catcher position because it is a 4-game series. No off day this week. Tomorrow's a day game, so a quick turnaround. So maybe JT sits in the night game, plays the day game, vice versa. I do not know. But you could see, because of that, a night game into a day game and a 4-game series to no off day this week. You could see a strange lineup tonight, which should not make you nervous about their ability to hit this pitcher. Even if the Phillies put their worst lineup out there, they should still be able to beat the Colorado Rockies, right? I saw something great from Destiny Luzardo, who covers the Phillies. And she tweeted out, like, which Phillies player, like, who's the worst Phillies player that'd be the best player on the Rockies? It's just like, oof. I mean, they have some solid, like, young players. Like, Ezekiel Tovar has been really, really nice for them. I like what I've seen out of him this series. But the Phillies are the clearly better team. This is like a vacation series for the Philadelphia Phillies more than it is an actual tough one. They don't get Memorial Day weekend vacation. They don't get 4th of July vacation. Their vacation is when they play teams like the Rockies. So enjoy it. Allow them to enjoy it. Let's focus on continuing to just put together good at-bats and not try and do too much. And tonight, the Philadelphia Phillies are minus 210 on the money line. It's getting a little tighter to even odds, but it's not really close compared to other matchups in baseball. So should be another win. We should be talking about another series win. We should be talking about, oh, by the way, Mets lost to the Red Sox last night. So the lead in the NL East has grown even more. Mets stink. We'll be talking more about that in tomorrow's episode. And yeah, day baseball, so a quick turnaround. So stay up late and get your rest, and hopefully the Phillies will find their way to their 6th straight victory. And heck, we'll look to make it 7 hopefully tomorrow. That's all for today's episode of Locked On Phillies. Thank you so much for joining us. Once again, we come to you as part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Please make sure you're rating, reviewing, subscribing to the YouTube, all that great stuff that really helps us out here on Locked On Phillies. And I will talk to you tomorrow after hopefully another Phillies win on the next episode of Locked On Phillies.